Let's talk about server sites. What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry Podcast, and welcome to another ArcGIS Server Talk podcast. And this podcast, we're going to discuss the server site. Server sites are actually a very hidden thing to the user or the administrator of our the ArcGIS server. We usually deal with machines and addresses and IP addresses or host names of the ArcGIS server, but we pay a little attention to the site itself. So, what is a site? What is this? What does this abstraction means? So, an ArcGIS server site is that's what it is. It's an abstraction that collects information about all the services, all the machines, and all the data sources that has been published, registered with the server side, essentially. So imagine when you first install ArcGIS Server on a new machine, you will get an option. You will basically get an internal web server called Tomcat, essentially. It's an Apache Tomcat running on port 6080 for HTTP and 6443 for HTTPS. And that's what you get. And then once you visit that page or that website, essentially, on HTTP / the machine name :6080 or 6443 if you're using HTTPS / ArcGIS, you will be prompted, says, hey, by the way, it looks like your machine does not belong to any server side, right? So you have two options now. Do you want to create a new server site, or do you want to join an existing one? And that actually explains more what is the purpose of this server site concept. So now, let's say I go ahead and I create a server site. Then you'll be asked some more questions, right? So it's like, okay, as the server site, once you're creating the server site, you have to tell me a lot of information. There's where do you want your config store to be? This is like the most important piece, in my opinion. The config store stores information about the server site. It's about how many services published, data stores, other information, right? Machines that are joined in this site. All this fancy stuff are stored there. And then that is the most important piece, and that's what we look at in this machine. So if I create a new server site, you basically specify these directories, and we will start writing to these directories with initial default values. It says, okay, machine, we didn't give it this machine a name, did we? So say machine A has been created, and then I installed ArcGIS Server, and then we created a new server site, and then machine A is now a machine in this server site. Okay, that's pretty cool. And just like that, I have now a server site. All right, so now what is the benefits? What do we get here? So when I visit that site, which is HTTP A:6080, now the web adapter has, not the web adapter, now the Tomcat server that is running on port 6080 will have more information. It says, oh, by the way, I am actually on a server site, and here's my config file, and all right, let me direct you to the REST directories, right, which is the services, and you can go to the slash manager, which is like A6080 slash ArcGIS. It's just a folder, and then slash manager, and then you have a way to access the manager, which gives you like you can see the system services, you can see the authentication protocol used, you can change that, you can start playing with all this information just by accessing the manager. You have access, and every single edit that you make here will be written to the configuration store. And that's very important. All right, so now let's join another machine. How about that? Just like, let's take a little break. All right, I just received a new machine or VM. It's called B, machine B. Logged in, I installed ArcGIS Server, brand new machine. Guess what? I visit HTTP B6080 slash ArcGIS, and what do you think we're gonna get? You're gonna get the same exact prompts. Hey, this is a brand new machine. Do you want to create a new site so it will be lives by its own, or do you want to join an existing site and inherit all these configuration from that other site? Now this is very interesting, because just by joining that other site, to join another site, you will have to basically, what do you think you can give that machine so it can look up this information? We can give it the address of the machine A. So let's join this machine instead of creating a new one. It's actually useless to create a new one. Now in this case, we want to explore what happened when I join a new machine, right? So I'm gonna say HTTP. All right, I'm gonna join a new machine. I'm prompted with, hey, okay, what's the address of that machine? It says, all right, sure, this is it. HTTP //a and 6080 /ArcGIS. What I forgot to mention is when we create a new site, we create a username and a password, and that's called the primary administrator. All right, that's like just the user that can access pretty much everything, all the site information, can do pretty much everything. You can disable that if you don't want that, after enabling multiple other authentication, like joining with portal and doing other stuff. All right, so what you do in this case is you're gonna give the HTTP A6080 and says, okay, I think this is the primary administrator of machine A, or the site or the server site A. All right, and then go ahead and join. And this is where things get really interesting, because machine B and machine A should be accessible to each other. First, I should be either in the same network, or probably better to be in the same network for latency problems, right? To avoid latency problems. But also, now not only I can access this port 6080 from that machine, I need to access a bunch of other ports. We can talk about that in another episode, like the load information that is shared between these machines. But just take for a second that I should access that, and I log in, and I logged in, and that's okay. Next, I'm gonna start asking the site for information, right? I can query the server site A, right? And then start asking it, okay, what's your config store, right? So I'm gonna get a path, right? This is the most common mistake that everybody makes. when configuring server sites with multiple machines. It's just like they put the path as C/ArcGIS, whatever, right, in the same path. But now that directory does not exist on machine B. It exists on machine A. So how can we have access to that directory from machine B? There's no way, right? So a common way, what people do is they usually put this in a UNC drive. So it's a shared drive essentially that is accessible, like a network array storage that is accessible between machine A and machine B. So it's just like a point, right? So both of them can read from this file. So it's a very highly available RAID file system, essentially. Then you can point machine A, so the server side. You can change the configuration, the config stored, instead of saying C ArcGIS config store, you should point it to that location that is accessible from both machines. And that's really cool. Now the machine B can access that. Some might say, it says, okay, why don't we make some sort of an API that machine A can expose to all the other machines that want to join, instead of just like sharing this directory, right? So it's like, why not? Okay, I have access through this port 6A80. This is, by the way, /rest/ give me the config store services. Give me all this information. We could do that, but that means we just made machine A the master, right, of this site, right? This is the kind of a leader of all the sites. And the moment you do that, essentially you have a single point of failure. So if machine A dies, you don't have load balancing anymore, right? So that's why we do multiple machines, in order, if I access a single machine, I could be routed using the web adapter to either this machine or this machine, right, based on whatever is available. And that's the benefits of having multiple servers, or GIS servers. That's the common name used for these. And in order to make this configuration highly available. So there's no single point of failure on the server side. You can access machine A or you can access machine B, and will respond with you with the information that you need. Just like the common information, the exchange between these two nodes. And you can start adding machine C now, and this will join the site. But just these three like that are not enough to provide an ultimate load balancing experience, because now when I want to address or I want to access a service, let's assume there is like by default there's like a world cities or world countries service published, right? So now if I access machine B /manager, I can actually see this service, although it was somehow published to machine A, right? But there is no concept of publishing just to machine A or just to machine B. If you're publishing to a site, that's it. The configuration is shared between all the machines, right? So we'll talk about publishing in another episode. All right. So we're trying to make this podcast like a short, like around 15 minutes. So we're gonna end up soon. And yeah, so there's a missing piece that we're gonna talk in another episode called the web adapter that provide an agnostic way of communicating or connecting to these services, right? Instead of addressing machine A / or 6080, right? You can access the web adapter instead, and then it will route the results based on the load balancing algorithm, based on the information that is exchanged between these all the three nodes. All right, guys, that is all for me today. Hope you enjoyed this server site episode. Very basic stuff, but we're gonna talk about more stuff coming the next episode. Stay awesome. Goodbye.